watching.
This is an NBC News special report. Here's Lester Holt.
Good day. We're coming back on the air with breaking news. Within the last hour, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky arrived at the White House for a meeting with President Biden for his first in-person conversation with the commander-in-chief since Ukraine was invaded by Russia last February. And just moments ago, the two presidents met in the Oval Office with Mr. Biden, vowing continued cooperation between our two nations. Here's some of what we saw and heard.
Get hurt. Wait till everyone's in.
Thanks so much.
Well, Mr. President, it's good to have you back. I'm delighted that you're able to make the trip to be here, and it's an honor to be by your side in the united defense against what is a brutal, brutal war being waged by Putin. 300 days. Hard to believe. 300 days we've been going through this, and Putin has waged a brutal assault on the Ukraine's right to exist as a nation, and the attack on innocent Ukrainian people for no reason other than intimidating. And he's escalated his assault on civilians after hitting schools, orphanages, hospitals, landmarks. He's trying to use winter as a weapon. But the Ukrainian people continue to inspire the world. I mean that sincerely. Not just inspire us, but inspire the world with their courage and how they have chose their resilience and resolve for their future. And the American people have stood proudly with them, Democrats and Republicans, together with our allies in Europe and Japan and other places, to make sure you have the financial, humanitarian, and security assistance that is needed. We're going to talk about that today. And we're going to continue to strengthen Ukraine's ability to defend itself, particularly air defense, and that's why we're going to be providing Ukraine with Patriot missile battery and training your forces to be able to accurately use it. Together with our partners, we're also going to continue to impose costs on the Kremlin, and we'll support Ukraine pursuing a just peace. President Zelensky, the United States stands with the brave people in Ukraine. We stand with you. You've been a great leader. And by the way, we have a famous thing that occurs once a year. We pick the Man of the Year in Time magazine. You are the Man of the Year in the United States of America. And so welcome. We have a lot to talk about, and the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Great honor for me to be here. Dear journalists, I thank you so much for the invitation. I really wanted to come earlier. Mr. President knows about it, but I couldn't do it because the situation was so difficult. And now, if I'm calm, I came, that we control the situation, and because of support. And first of all, because of your support, and I understand that we have very important topics, and we'll discuss them, everything, so many challenges in Ukraine, in Europe, in the world, and from energy to the situation on battlefield. But first of all, all my appreciations from my heart, from the hearts of Ukrainians, all Ukrainians, from our nation, strong nations, all the appreciation to you, first of all, Mr. President, for your big support and leadership. Of course, Europe, many countries helped us and are helping now, because the war is not over. It's a bit, but anyway, but that is your leadership. Thank you, first of all. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Of course, thanks my partisan support, thanks Congress, and thanks from our just ordinary people to your ordinary people, Americans. I really appreciate. I think it's very difficult to understand what does it mean when we say appreciate, but you really have to feel it. And thank you so much. Great honor to be here. And yesterday I was on Donbass, in Bakhmut. That is the place on the east of our country. You know it, all the details. We had so many phone calls and spoke detailedly about it. And I want to give you something. One guy, he's really real hero, real captain, and he asked me to pass his award. And he asked me to pass his award to President Biden. And you will understand, he is the captain of HIMARS battery. Yes, he's very brave, and he said, give it to a very brave president. And I want to give you, that is the cross for military merit. That is one.
Oh, God love you.
Yes, that is from him, and I have the list. He wrote the list. Yes, I didn't read, Mr. President. I can't read. It's not it's in Ukrainian language, but here the translation. It's from him.
And his name is, I have his name, I could contact him?
Yes. Pavlo.
Well, undeserved, but much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He said that many his brothers, this system saved. So thank you very much.
Well, we have a tradition here, and I will give it to him. My son, who fought in Iraq, they have what they call a command coin. You've seen those coins we have in the battlefield? I will make sure that he gets one of those.
Right. I will give him.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. What a great honor.
Thank you.
Great honor. Well, thank you, Press.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
President Biden with President Zelensky of Ukraine sitting together as a photo op and what we call a spray in the business of the two presidents. They will be in detailed meetings today, but you saw the gift, if you will, the medal that President Zelensky passed along to President Biden. President Biden also confirming what has been widely reported, that the U.S. is sending Patriot missile battery, a sophisticated air defense weapon, to Ukraine soon. Let's go to Chief White House correspondent Peter Alexander. Peter, there will be much to talk about. Do we know what the agenda is as the afternoon goes forward?
Well, Lester, that fireside summit now begins, and I was just struck by the image we saw there at the arrival and now in the Oval Office. President Biden, of course, in his traditional suit, but Volodymyr Zelensky there dressed in his green sweater, his cargo pants and boots, his wartime attire, literally 24 hours removed from the battlefield, having just been on the front lines in eastern Ukraine just yesterday. As you note, there is a lot for these two men to discuss. Most notably from the Ukrainian perspective is an opportunity to say thank you to the American people, and for Volodymyr Zelensky tonight as he speaks before Congress to present to the American people what their efforts and their money has done so far to allow Ukraine to fight back against Russia. And while President Biden has now just announced nearly $2 billion in additional assistance, including that Patriot missile battery, that highly sophisticated air defense system, that's largely a symbolic effort by the U.S. It alone will not change the situation on the ground, but there is another $44 billion that's being debated right now as one part of a $1.7 billion, trillion-dollar package being discussed in Congress, and it's that money that really could be a difference maker going forward. As both sides discuss it, some popular and top Republicans have expressed reservations about it, notably Kevin McCarthy saying there won't be a blank check for Ukraine going forward. Lester.
People continue to inspire.
Peter Alexander at the White House. That concludes this NBC News special report. We'll be back again when Presidents Biden and Zelensky hold a joint news conference later this afternoon. For now, I'm Lester Holt. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you a bit later on.
Democrats and Republicans, together with our allies